Oh gosh, honestly, at gigs, I play everything because I just, when you're out somewhere and you see a musician, you're kind of hoping they play a song right?
Yeah.
So I just try to play like all and everything. I mean, I play things like The Weeknd, Post Malone, and then I play like Eagles and Kiss. So it's definitely a wide variety, but I always, for some reason, I have a lot of Beatles song in my sets. I recently realized that and I just learned a lot of Beatles songs, but I have Kiss, Eagles, like I said, Post Malone and The Weeknd, Paramore, um, Cyndi Lauper,
Wow.
um, just a little bit of everything. I even have Wagon Wheel by Darius Rucker, and I'm not even a huge country fan, but
Yeah.
Country Roads, I have that. And I gotta throw in some crowd participation songs, so I do like Sweet Caroline.
Today's the same old day. Never thought it'd end this way. Can't find the words to say. Now the spawn's been ripped away. Night falls, thought you'd stay. So confused and not okay. All I want is to see your face, see your face. It's a tragedy, this misery. You're not here with me. Feels like I wanna scream in this tragedy. No, it's not a dream. I have no.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Living in the Limelight. I'm your host, Jay Huller. As a quick reminder, please follow us on Instagram at Living in the Limelight Show and check out our website at livinginthelimelight.com. And of course, you can find our podcasts through all the major streaming services, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Check us out also on YouTube at Living in the Limelight Podcast. Each week, we feature a conversation with a different artist where we delve into what makes them tick, and sometimes we get pro tips on pursuing a career as an artist. If you are a performer or know someone who is and would like to be considered for our show, check out the questionnaire at livinginthelimelight.com, and thanks so much for listening. Francesca Tarantino is a singer based in the Central Florida area. Francesca has always loved to sing, often belting out classic rock tunes while running around the house or riding in the car. She got her first taste for performing on stage in second grade when she closed out her school's talent show with I Wanna Rock and Roll All Night by Kiss. Shortly after, she moved to Florida and started in a new school that gave her the opportunity to learn about acting, singing, and musical theater. While theater has given her a stage and experience, Francesca was eager to expand her talents and grow as an artist. In December of 2020, she joined Dreamwalker Music Evolution in Orlando. At DME, Francesca entered the recording studio for the first time and instantly loved it. Francesca has played some local gigs in and around Orlando and has participated in several open mics. She's performed on stage at Hard Rock Live Orlando, the Dr. Phillips Center for Performing Arts, and Tin Roof Orlando. She has also sung the national anthem at several charity events and sporting events, including the Daytona Tortugas and 2 games for the Miami Marlins. Let's welcome Francesca Tarantino to Living in the Limelight.
Hello.
Hello, Francesca. Welcome to Living in the Limelight. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic, and better now that we are on the phone together. I wanted to go right into this fantastic news that surfaced this week, and it's on social media about tragedy. Can you just walk me through your feelings on that? What's going through your mind, because it's a super big deal, and how did it kind of come about? Did you anticipate that for this song and all that kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm honestly so surprised with how good Tragedy is doing. I mean, I never thought it would be, honestly, I never thought people would like it as much as they do. And it went number 1 on a break in internet radio station for indie artists like me. And when I wrote the song, I was going through a really tough time of losing my dog. And I was just sad and writing out all my emotions. And I realized, other people have gone through the same experience of losing someone you love. And so I really kept that in mind when writing it so other people could really relate. And I'm just so happy that other people can relate on the level that I do. And I'm just so happy it's resonating with so many other people. And I'm just so happy about it.
Is that one of the greatest rewards for creating art as a songwriter? Is starting with that? It's probably not pen to paper for you. It might be something digital on your phone or whatnot. But you've got the idea and the words are coming out and the music is developing. But then to see it being accepted by everyone and just loved, is that like a full circle? How does that feel for you?
It feels so amazing. It's like the best feeling ever to know that people can like really connect with what I put out there. And it just makes me really happy to know that. And I'm just so happy that everyone likes the song.
I can imagine that only on a small scale because I'm not a songwriter like you. Speaking of songwriting, do you have like a routine or how do you approach like I'm going to do a song? Is it kind of a daily thing you work at, or when inspiration strikes, what's your like a typical way you go, or is it always different?
Everyone asks me this question. Honestly, I don't have a straight answer. I know some people specifically start with lyrics and then go to the music, or do music first and then the lyrics. But for me, it's honestly just whatever comes to mind first. When I wrote my first full song, My Runaway, that one started with music, and I went to my producer one day and he was just like, all right, we're writing a song. And I was like, okay. And he just pulled out some chords, found a cool chord progression. I loved it. He told me to sing, like find a little melody. And we came up with this hook, I Got a Runaway. And so obviously I didn't have to use it, but it was just an example. But I just became so attached to how it fit with the melody.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really wanted to keep that going. And I didn't really know where to go from there for lyrics wise. So I asked my brother Dominic to help me, who's actually a co-writer on the song.
Oh.
And right when he came in the room, we were just spinning out all these ideas. And at first I was honestly really stumped, but he really helped me out there. And I honestly just whatever comes first when I'm writing music. And I always try to write every day. Writing is definitely such a cool thing to do because it just helps with so many different things and like helps me cope with my emotions. And then when other people hear my music, it might help them cope with theirs. And it's just so much fun to do. I love writing. And even though like beforehand, I didn't really know how to write music yet, I was still writing a bunch of lyrics down and ideas. And it's such a fun thing to do, but just whatever comes to my mind first, I just write it down.
That's cool. I love that. And bringing up your brother reminds me, I always like to hear a little bit about family, and I'm sure everyone does too. Like what kind of music was around the house and how music kind of started to get into your blood. Is your brother older or younger?
He's older than me. He's 16 and I'm 15.
Okay. So, well, not much different. That's so cool. So kind of, I envision, brothers and sisters like just running around and kind of bothering each other, and how brothers and sisters can be, but you guys are, you're making music together, and that's just, that's a totally amazing concept for me.
Yeah, we really connect. It's pretty cool.
That's so good. Well, yeah, let's go back to that if you don't mind, like your young self, and tell us where this kind of began for you, and how it's grown and how it's changed maybe in your interests, and who's influenced you over the time, because I think we all find that really fascinating to like what's your story behind all of it.
Yeah, well, when I was a little kid, I was always singing music around the house, and my parents, they would always blast like classic rock music like Aerosmith, Leonard Skinner, Kiss, ELO, bands like that. And I just became obsessed with that type of music, and it's what I grew up with. I would sing it all the time. And so I really got my start in musical theater, and I loved musical theater. I mean, I loved singing. I loved being on stage. I played a lot of good roles. It was really fun. But then I realized I wanted to get back to my classic rock like roots, and just wanted to do the music that I loved and write my own music. So I started to make the change going into like artistry. And honestly, it was really hard because singing musical theater style and singing in an artist way is so different.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really big switch. And honestly, I had massive stage fright. But my first vocal coach really helped me with that. And musical theater helped a lot with that too. So I'm so grateful that I started in musical theater. And then I started taking guitar lessons about 2 years ago. which is just rhythm guitar on acoustic guitar. And that was really fun for me. And then I wanted to start learning electric guitar, which like leads and stuff like Hotel California, like soloing and stuff like that.
Yes.
So I started taking lead lessons about a year ago, and it's just so much fun for me to play songs that I love. And I play a bunch of different songs. I mean, I pretty much like all types of music, but it's just so cool to play solos like Hotel California and Stairway to Heaven. And it's just so much fun for me to do.
That's great. And I have to say kudos to your parents, because you are speaking my language. I grew up with that music, and all of those bands that you named are just, they're great for a proper musical upbringing. So that reminds me of a question that might be strange for you, but I see kids your age, because I actually work with kids your age, wearing the graphic tees for the various bands, Def Leppard and Kiss and whatnot. And occasionally I'll approach them and I'll say, hey, can you name a song, or do you know who this is? And they're like, hardly ever. Every once in a while someone would name it, but if you wore one of those shirts, are you wearing it like authentically?
Oh yeah, for sure. I know a lot of people wear like band shirts because, it's stylish, and I understand people who want to, have style. But for me, like, I have like over 30 Kiss shirts. It's honestly crazy.
Whoa. Yeah, that's a lot.
I'm honestly a collector. So like people would think I might just be wearing them, for style, and I understand, but honestly, I connect to a different level. I mean, considering I have like over 30. So yeah, it's a little different for me. So if someone came up to me and asked me to name like 10 songs, I could.
That's amazing. And I believe you 100%. So what do you think it is about that kind of music? Because there is, a universe of musical styles out to choose from. And with Spotify and whatnot, we can really literally pick something and in a second get it and listen to it. But like you said, you grew up on it and it's comfortable to you, but there has to be, if you could think about that music and when you're performing it and you're writing it, what do you think is inside of it that really drives you and gets you kind of like excited and wanting to perform with that kind of style?
Honestly, I really don't know. That's a good question. Just something about that type of music it brings me memories of like my childhood and running around the house and singing those songs. And I just songs nowadays are so different. They don't have like cool guitar solos and cool riffs and these really high vocals and like these 40-minute intros, it's like, it's so different. And just something about the music really calls out to me. And honestly, I don't know what it is, but it's the type of music I like to listen to. I like the thrashy guitars and, the cool riffs and things like that. But I really do like all types of music. Like I'll listen to pop, rap, some country, but rock is definitely my favorite. And I guess it just brings back good memories. And it's honestly the coolest type of music to me.
No, I'm right there with you. And so that makes me think about Orlando and where you're based out of Orlando, I think I read. So when you're performing and you've got a gig at a local place, let's say it's a pretty small place, what would your set list include? Obviously your original songs, but if you were to do some covers with you on a single guitar, what would you pick? What are some typical songs that you like to play?
Oh gosh, honestly, at gigs I play everything because I just, when you're out somewhere and you see a musician, you're kind of hoping they play a song, right?
Yeah.
So I just try to play like all and everything. I mean, I play things like The Weeknd, Post Malone, and then I play like Eagles and Kiss. So it's definitely a wide variety, but I always, for some reason, I have a lot of Beatles songs in my sets. I recently realized that, and I just learned a lot of Beatles songs, but I have Kiss, Eagles, like I said, Post Malone and The Weeknd, Paramore, Cyndi Lauper, just a little bit of everything. I even have Wagon Wheel by Darius Rucker, and I'm not even a huge country fan, but Country Roads, I have that. And I got to throw in some crowd participation songs, so I do like Sweet Caroline to get everyone on their feet.
So moving forward with like your development, I know you're still young, you're a wee 15, but you're kind of like, you're in this music world pretty seriously. So I always like to kind of know how do you handle balance? How do you you've got school, I'll assume, you've got friends, you've got family wants to do something like, hey, let's go do this. And then you've got your music, this big product, this love of yours. How do you work it all in?
God, well, honestly, it's pretty hard because there are just so many things that I do that I have to work all together. And I used to really struggle with managing my time, and I've gotten a lot better. But I mean, the social media, the practicing, going, still being a 15-year-old and going out with my friends is pretty crazy. But what really helps is for school, I only go for half a day now. So on some days I leave at like 1:15, and other days I leave at like 11 o'clock. So it's so helpful. And then I go home, I either go to my lessons or go to my gig. I practice. But I always set a time. I always set time aside, to always hang out with my friends and, be a 15-year-old. And some people don't understand how busy I am, to be honest. And I've lost friends because of it. And people just don't understand that I'm really trying to make it out there. But, the real friends stick around, and I try my best to balance everything out. And I definitely have gotten better at it because, like I said, I definitely used to struggle. But, try to balance all that stuff. But I still love what I do. I think I have a pretty healthy balance of everything.
Yeah, I would say so too, judging. I mean, of course, I'm an outsider and seeing it all through social media, but I have daughters and they've grown up, and I've seen that, kind of happen too with their lives. And I was a kid too, obviously. So it is hard. And I wonder, so with your friends, let's say you guys are out and you're having fun and you've planned an evening or whatever, do they see you, do you think, in a different light? Like, here I am with my rock star friend, or do you think you're just Francesca to them and it can be more just like a friend time and not she's so amazing. Do they do that for you? They are on the opposite end of it. Do they build you up and really support you a lot in your music?
Oh, they're definitely really supportive. They're like my primary supportive system. They're always really supportive with everything. But when I'm out with them, I'm Francesca, but they also recognize that, I'm a musician. And like sometimes we'll go, I don't know, to an amusement park or something, and they're all going to be like screaming on the rides, and I'll be the only quiet one because, I don't want to hurt my voice. But I mean, they understand, and they never like make fun of me for anything like some people have. And they are always very supportive. They always like tell people about my music. They even come to my gigs. And they're so great, and I love being around them. But definitely, I'm definitely like Francesca to them as opposed to like Francesca Tarantino as, the rocker, but I kind of balance the two out.
Yeah, that's cool. So let's walk through that. Let's say you're out with them one night and you have to cut the night short because you have a gig, like say goodbye and whatever. Is it hard for you to transition from being just a 15-year-old kid having fun with friends to going, let's say it's a big event, you've got a huge show, 2,000, 3,000 people, and I'm sure you have some mental things you got to go through. Would that be hard for you, or do you see yourself kind of able to transition from being a normal teenage girl to being the rock star that we know you are?
Honestly, it's not as hard as you think because I'm very similar, in both ways. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm normally just like a bubbly person, I think. So when I'm around my friends, I'm like bubbly and always, energetic. And then in the music world, I also am. But definitely, I'm a very loud talker. So sometimes I really have to watch, like paying attention with how loud I talk. And so I don't like strain my voice or anything, especially before gigs, because sometimes I can just really wear my voice out, which has happened in the past. And sometimes I won't be able to go to a certain hangout because I have a gig or a certain party or a certain event at school. And honestly, I don't really mind. Most of the time, if it's something really important or really fun, I make it work. But my friends never really care. Sometimes they'll even come with me to one of my gigs instead of go to like a football game at school. But it's honestly a really thing to transition in and out of because I'm pretty much kind of the same thing. But just before gigs, I got to get, mentally prepared, take some deep breaths, and things like that, but pretty much the same thing.
That brings a question to mind. Do you think, and you would know better than me for sure, do you think that most performers are that way? Because as a fan, I'll call myself like a fan of music, I see like this pedestal, and you guys rise up and you do your thing. You're on the stage, you're up higher, and we're looking down at us and waving, whatnot. But do you think that most performers do kind of like you are, and are kind of like you are, where they are similar off the stage to on the stage?
Yeah, I definitely think, I mean, I think most are kind of the same to me, but some, like, for instance, Paul Stanley from Kiss, I mean, him when he's on stage, he like talks like this and like, has a totally different personality. And he even like throws a little accent on there. But then like when he's off stage and I watch all these documentaries about Kiss, he's totally different. And he's like more chill and, easygoing as opposed to being on stage. So definitely some people are like that in a bad way. Like some people on stage will be like, oh, I love you guys, I love my fans. And then off stage will be like, ugh, what am I doing as a musician, But I think there are some good balances like that, and then also some bad balances like that. But I think I'm one of the good ones, and I'm good at balancing the two. And I definitely think there are some people who are like me in that fact.
Yeah, I think that's great, and to be self-aware of kind of how you are, and to know that, how you behave on stage matters, because we have the on-stage persona, and then we have the social media persona, and then you have the people that you know, and to look at it all in different perspectives, and be aware of that is amazing for a 15-year-old. That's super cool. I love that you can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's delve into your music a little bit. We talked about tragedy. Can you maybe tell us about your dog a little bit, and then let's move into that song. Just kind of maybe in more depth about how it came about, and like you said, you didn't expect it to do the way it has, and maybe now that it has had so much success, now look at it from your perspective and see maybe what's inside it that is pulling people's attention, because you're getting lots of attention about it.
Yeah, like I said, it is honestly really crazy. I did not expect for people to like it as much as they did. And it was just a song I was writing in my room about, me losing someone I loved, and I was sad, and I didn't expect for a minute that it would get number one on the indie radio station. Like, that's crazy to me. But when I was writing it again, I was just writing it, the words and things like that. And then I went to my producer, and he hears me sing the melody, and he's like, okay, he works his magic, and he throws some chords on. And then it was just such a cool process watching him like just put it all together. And it was such a different process than my Runaway. So it was honestly really strange to me at first, because I was writing the words first, which was different. And it was confusing, but then as I started writing, it was just like, I'm writing my feelings. So it's just so crazy. I really did not expect for people to like it as much as they did, but I'm so happy that other people can relate to it. And I'm not happy people can like feel the pain,
of course,
but
yeah.
I'm glad they can feel, if that makes sense.
No, it makes
but
total
I'm
sense.
just really, really grateful about it. And I cannot wait to write more songs like that where people can relate as much as they did.
Yeah, a lot of the artists that I've talked to have said something similar. It's just, that's just such a heartwarming feeling. It's nice to hear someone clap. It's nice to hear someone write a nice thing, but to really like go, that song like changed my life, and it did this and this and this. Those seem to be the really impactful times. So I'm so glad that your music is doing that, and I know it's got to feel really good. You have another song we'll call In the Incubator, right? It's not yet ready, but can you tell us like a sneak peek a little bit about, and I don't know if I can name the title yet or not, but your forthcoming song?
Oh yeah, Truth Cannot Hide.
Okay.
Oh, I'm really excited about this one. Yeah, the name. This song is another storytelling song, and it's about me, the person singing the song. My best friend cheated on her boyfriend. And so, best friends tell each other everything. So the best friend told me, and, I have to be there for my best friend, but you're obviously inside, like, why would you cheat on your boyfriend? Like, that was just the wrong thing to do. And so you're like, the truth cannot hide. I co-wrote this one with my producer, Mike Walker at Team Walker Music Evolution, and also his wife, Caroline Walker, who helped me write the lyrics. And that is where we came up with the concept. And it was honestly a really random concept to me. It just honestly came out of nowhere, and I was just thinking about all these other stories, and that one just came up, and she helped me a lot with it. And we started writing that one, and that one I actually had the music for first. Mm-hmm. It was just a really cool, simple chord progression that I wrote. And beforehand, I actually wrote a totally different song for it, and with a kind of similar, pretty different story. This one. So we changed all that up, and we wrote Truth Cannot Hide. And I went to Mike, and he added his pizzazz to it. And it's another really rocking song, and I'm really excited about it. And I just can't wait for everyone to hear it.
Very nice. And you have an approximate drop date, right? It's sometime in November?
Definitely by the end of the year. I'm hoping by Thanksgiving.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know that these things are a process, and it takes time and little tweaks here and the mixing and the mastering, of course. Very interesting. Sure. So I thought of a question while you were saying all that. So the friend who came to you, and that's great. If you have friends that can tell you that kind of truth, you have wonderful friends. But when this was told to you in confidence, and then you started to write a song about it, does your friend know that moment is sort of the basis for the song, or how is that going?
Story is just a really over exaggerated thing about what happened to me, but this song, nobody's gonna know it's about them, because it's honestly really not. I mean, there are a lot of other scenarios. Like, I have other friends who have done a pretty similar thing, mm-hmm. So they might think it's about them, but honestly, it's not. It's just about, like, the story of just the best friend cheating on, her boyfriend. And it's not really about anyone in specific, but it's a little scenario I really over-exaggerated.
Yeah, and what I like about that, and that kind of speaks to, at least in my opinion, the definition of art. Like, because they'd say if someone will look at the Mona Lisa, for example, and no two people will see the same portrait. They won't see the same thing. They'll say different things. And no two people will say the same things about your songs. And so art can be interpreted however, right, by everybody. So I love that it's a message, kind of a universal message, because that happens. It happens a lot, unfortunately. But it'll reach different people in different ways. So that's cool. I love that. Well, we're looking forward to that a lot. So
thank you so much. I'm so excited for people to hear it.
Very cool. Yes. So I see that you play the guitar. You talked about it. You've started playing it about 2 years ago. Any other instruments that you kind of fiddle with, or you feel like you're getting the handle on?
At some point a long time ago, I started learning a little bit of piano. Mm-hmm. But it was honestly just not my thing. I thought I would like it, but it was not as cool as guitar. I can tell you that. It didn't click with me like guitar did. I wasn't fascinated like I am with guitar. Mm-hmm. Now I'm learning a little bit about piano. Just, maybe one day I want to do a cool little cover on piano of some simple chords. My producer just helping me play a few chords, and it's honestly pretty cool, and it's also helping me learn music theory, which is really cool. But I'm definitely not gonna master it. Some days I'll also pick up my bass at home. Why do we have a bass? I honestly don't know.
You're a musical family.
Yeah, but nobody really plays the bass. It's honestly really only me, and I only fiddle with it. But Santa got it for me one year for Christmas, because I asked for one because I was so obsessed with Gene Simmons and Kiss. And then I never really learned it. But some days for some funny covers, I do some bass, and it's honestly a cool instrument. And if I had to pick an instrument that wouldn't be guitar, I think it would definitely be bass, because it's similar, but I don't know. I think it's really cool, and it's a cool thing to play. But wouldn't master that either, but guitar is definitely where my heart is.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't sell yourself short on any of that, because I've seen lots of musicians that, you know, they'll focus on one instrument, but fiddle, we'll say, with others, and surprisingly like get really good at it. So it's the love of music that drives it all. And so if you find yourself picking up, you know, the bass a lot or whatever, it'll come. I think it really will. And I understand the piano thing. We talked about that in my family. It's like the piano is a pretty stationary instrument, and all of these others you can take with you and you can play wherever you are. So it makes it just more accessible.
Yeah.
So cool. Do you have any preferences on guitar? Like, I don't know if you have an acoustic and you said you have an electric. Do you have like a go-to kind of Fender or whatever brand, or did you just, you know, whatever showed up under the Christmas tree or for a birthday, or do you love gear per se, or you just like, if it has 6 strings, I'm going to play it?
Whew. Well, my dad actually collects guitars.
Okay.
So we have quite a few. So I have a wide variety to pick from.
Mm-hmm.
But we have like maybe 5 or 6 acoustics, which, you know, are really fun to play and they're really beautiful. But I mean, I just love electric. I mean, it's so cool. I always play the electric guitars if I ever want to write something or just mess around. But this is kind of bad I'm saying this because it's the most expensive guitar we own.
No, go for it.
But we own a few Gibson Les Pauls, and they're just my favorite ever. Just the sound they make, and so many cool guitarists that I know play them.
Mm-hmm.
We have a standard Gibson Les Paul standard, and I think that one's my favorite, and it's also just so beautiful. And I'm so grateful that my dad even collects guitars, because if I didn't have someone who, you know, did, I would probably be for my own guitars, which honestly I don't mind that much. But I'm just so blessed to have them and have them, you know, right in my house. And also jamming with him is loads of fun. But definitely a Gibson Les Paul, and then for maybe a cleaner sound, I do really like our Fenders. I have a bunch of Fender Strats, which I really love, and those are ones I normally play out because my dad would never let me play out Gibson Les Paul. No way.
Yeah, that's a good point, and it totally makes sense, because the Les Paul, although still really popular, I think would say had its heyday back when this classic rock was, you know, going strong, and it drove a lot of those bands. So I totally get it. So is your dad a writer of music, or like you said, it's fun to jam with him? Was he instrumental in getting you like, oh yes, Francesca, you should pick up the guitar? Did he was there a connection there, or was this sort of natural? And when he's around and you guys play together, this is a natural thing. It's not a planned thing. How does it work between you two?
Well, no, he is not a writer with music. He just honestly just fiddles around on guitar. He knows maybe like a little bit less than me. I don't really know when he started learning it. I'm honestly not entirely sure, but he knows a little bit about music theory, and it's cool because if I learn something, I tell him, and then if he learns something, he tells me. So it's just like this never-ending circle, and it's loads of fun jamming with him. But it's so much fun having a dad who plays guitar, to be honest. But I don't really know when he started, but he is pretty good at it, I must say. And he started collecting guitars like when he was 30. And when he put a guitar in my hands for the first time, I was like 3 or 4.
Oh, wow.
And he at that time knew like a few little riffs that he taught me, which were really fun. But now we're both learning like theory and things like that. He doesn't take lessons, but he used to take lessons, and he learns like off of YouTube. He's definitely a YouTube learner. And then I tell him stuff that I learned, but it's loads of fun jamming with him.
Yeah, man, YouTube has opened up a whole array of new ways to learn stuff and to fix things. I use YouTube to fix stuff around the house all the time. So I totally get it. Yeah, it's
really fun.
So I have to ask, if you two are jamming and the Marshall amp is cranked to 11, just to allude to a movie, what are your neighbors thinking? Like, is it ever become an issue when you guys are just jamming so hard that you get a ding dong? Can you guys bring it down a little bit?
I really hope not. They haven't told us anything, but I mean, most of the time we are kind of loud. But I don't think they really mind. But it definitely bothers my brother sometimes, I must say. My mom doesn't really care because we play the type of music she likes. But sometimes my brother gets a little angry with us.
Hey, I'm trying to do my homework. Stop it.
Exactly. But no complaints from neighbors yet. And hopefully we're going to keep it that way.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you will. I expected that answer, but you just never know because sometimes there's a story there. So let's imagine for a second. You've got the world that is your oyster, so to speak. You can go anywhere you want. You can be performing anywhere in the world on any stage with anyone or by yourself. What would you think would be your ideal environment to share? And this is going to be an hour with Francesca, maybe a full band if you want, or you. I don't want to put words in your mouth. When you like dream about being up there and delivering your messages to everyone, where are you and what does it look like?
Oh God. Well, one of my dream places to perform is definitely in New York City Radio Music Hall. Like, oh my gosh, that would be a dream. And I definitely see myself playing with a backing band, but not being in a band, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But definitely performing with other people with my electric guitar and showing people we can still rock, even though I'm a Gen Z. And definitely, having fun on stage, doing a bunch of my own original songs and having fun. And just showing people that music is just such a cool thing still, and that people don't appreciate it enough anymore. Yeah,
and live music, to that note, a lot of people catch things on their screens, right, on their phones or wherever.
Yes, exactly.
They don't go support the artist because it's so easy to find it elsewhere. So I applaud you for, keeping the live music going and wanting that, and even more so the classic rock, putting it back in front, because it was so strong back in the day, and other genres have come into play, which is great. It's good to listen to it. I have a connection with that music too, and so when I hear anyone playing it, my ear kind of goes, "Ooh, wait!" And so thank you for keeping that alive and putting your own spin on it, because I can't wait to see how all of these influences that you have grown up with, how they merge into what your music will become. That's why I'm so jazzed about this new song coming out, because I just know it's going to have, if I really listen carefully, it's going to have little flavors of things that you have listened to and played around with.
Of course, thank you. I'm so glad you're excited about it.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Okay, so 15 years old. Let's not rush things, but maybe let's go to 25. What would you be doing ideally at age 25? I'm wondering what would be your ideal, like if you could think of yourself as a 25-year-old, what would be your, like, what are you doing? What do you see yourself doing? Is it exclusively performing on stages with music? Would you bring some like screen acting stuff in? Because I know you've got acting in your wheelhouse. Or what would it look like?
Oh, for sure. I think that I get a lot of questions like this, but definitely still primarily music. I don't want to go back to the acting thing. It was a really great start for me, but just music in electric guitar and that type of music is where my heart is. I don't want to go back to that musical theater realm and things like that. But definitely I want to see myself with multiple albums out, getting my music heard as much as possible, and hopefully like touring the US. Like, I mean, that would be so cool, just like driving around and having people listen to my music live and doing shows and meeting new people. I love meeting new people when I gig, and it's always so much fun to just connect with people through music, and I think it's so cool. So hopefully gigging, getting better at what I'm doing, that's always an important thing. Don't want to stay at the same level, and continuing to get better, continuing to gig out, meet new people, and continue to try and reach my dreams.
That is a super healthy outlook. I applaud you for that too, because at age 25, I've seen a lot of people that just start getting into the still, they're lost and they don't have dreams, but you clearly, you are zoned in, you got like, you have it in your head. And that, I believe, is the first step, right? Is you see it and then you try to make it happen. So,
Yep, exactly. I'm not giving up my dream.
oh man, I can hear the determination in your voice. That's insane. That's so good. Fantastic. Well, it has been a super pleasure talking to you. I'd love for everyone to hear kind of your preferred way for people to reach out to you, because some people are like Instagram people, some people are Facebook, some people are or direct messages or not. How do you like to kind of collaborate with your fans and connect with them in a safe, positive, and a good moving forward kind of way?
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Francesca T Music is my handle on all three of those. If you ever want to check me out, you can send me a message on, I don't know if you can on YouTube actually, but Facebook and Instagram, and I will be sure I answer. And also, if you click the links in any of my bios, it will bring you to my music. So make sure you check that out and stay tuned for Truth Cannot Hide, coming out by the end of the year, hopefully.
It's fantastic. Yeah, I'm absolutely looking forward to it. And please keep posting. This is a personal request. Just keep posting those, I would call them unplugged moments. Your parents will know what that means, because MTV, when it was around, when it was actually a music.
I know what you mean.
Oh,
Don't
you know
worry.
what I mean? Oh, well, because they educated you. So yeah, please keep up the unplugged performances, because those are, I love the genuineness and just the raw you connecting with the songs. And
I agree.
Yeah. So please, that would be awesome. Well, cool.
I will for sure.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I can't wait to see what's next. And if you got like stuff that happens that's new and different, please connect with me again, and we'll get you back on and we'll talk about it. Sound good?
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Have a great night, okay?
Thank you. You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Today's the same old day. Never thought it'd end this way. Can't find the words to say. Now the spawn's been ripped away. Night falls, thought you'd stay. So confused and not okay. All I want is to see your face.